Today we're taking you inside some of the most gorgeous homes that know how to host for the holidays, where thoughtful preparation, beautiful surroundings, and generous Southern hospitality set the tone for unforgettable celebrations. First, we travel to the countryside of New Jersey, where a gracious pair of hosts prepares for an intimate Christmas dinner, gathering heirloom china, arranging festive tablescapes, and creating a warm, welcoming evening for their guests. Next, we head to Jackson, Mississippi, where a lively holiday soirée for more than 50 comes together in just a few hours, complete with signature cocktails, vibrant decor, and effortless charm. And finally, we make our way to downtown Chicago, where a sophisticated cocktail party for 30 unfolds with past hors d'oeuvres, layered greenery, and a sense of cozy elegance that turns the city evening into something magical. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you to the bucolic town of Tewksbury, New Jersey, where two of our favorite hosts, Eric and Philip, show us how to entertain graciously for the holidays, and they have just over 4 hours to get ready. They're having a Christmas dinner party for 10 people and show us how they prepare, from the festive foods.
Oh, I heard something. Yay! Oh,
wow.
All right.
I've scored an X on the round part of each chestnut, and I put them on cookie sheets. I set the oven to about 400.
To the gorgeous decorations and table settings. Eric gives us a peek at their treasure trove of china and glassware that they keep in the basement.
So these will be our dinner plate. That's sort of our foundation. And then I'm pairing it with some silver gilt French cutlery. And we're going to use these wonderful 1920s Venetian ruby goblets.
So get in the holiday spirit with Homeworthy as Eric and Philip pull off a magnificent party you won't want to miss.
The guests will be here in less than 2 hours. Let's get the show on the road.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Be sure to visit our website, homeworthy.com, to discover amazing furniture, art, accessories, and more, all handpicked by our editors to help transform your house into a home. All of the items are inspired by the episodes you see here on Homeworthy. Enjoy!
Hi, Homeworthy. Welcome to our home in Tewksbury, New Jersey. I'm Eric.
And I'm Philip. And we're having a dinner party in 4 hours for our closest family and friends, and we have a lot to do.
A lot to do, so you better get in. Welcome back to our home in Tewksbury, New Jersey. I will leave you in the hands of the chef to discuss the menu while I duck off to the dining room and get the table going.
Well, I'm not the only chef here. Eric's been working really hard the last couple of days also. But I've kept the menu very simple. It's Yorkshire pudding with roast beef, and also I've got a sage gravy and parsnip and carrot julienne, and also cauliflower cheese, which is very traditional and very English. Also Lithuanian potato latkes, fried in goose fat. Eric made a spectacular veal and venison pie, traditionally done with a boiled baked crust. It looks beautiful. And for dessert, we have figgy pudding with hard sauce and some English biscuits, some marzipan, and it should be really delicious. But we're running out of time and I've got to get going, so here we go. I'm going to show you now how I make roasted chestnuts. I'm making 2 hors d'oeuvres for our guests during the cocktail hour. One I've already made, which is a lobster tarragon salad that I'm putting in phyllo cups. But I'm also serving roasted chestnuts, and these are Italian chestnuts, and I have them right over here. I've taken them and I've scored an X on the back of each one. and I've soaked them in water overnight. Some people like to boil their chestnuts. I like to just soak them. It's less stress. They don't dry out as much when they're in the oven if you let them soak rather than boiling. But I've scored an X on the round part of each chestnut, and I put them on cookie sheets. I set the oven to about 400, and I'll let these roast for about half an hour to 40 minutes, and I'll check on them to make sure they're not getting burnt. But this is just a nice sort of like finger food. People can, you know, crack the shells and throw them in a bowl. We're all going to sit around the coffee table. There are 10 of us, so we'll be sitting around the fire in the living room, and they can toss the shells in a bowl. And it's just nice to have all the hors d'oeuvres out on the table while we're having champagne and other cocktails that people might like. So I've got a full bar going too if people want their Cosmos or their Cape Cods or Scotch, whatever. Got to have a full bar for some of these guests. But I thought the chestnuts would be very traditional, and it's kind of that nice New York sidewalk smoky chestnut smell. So that's it. So I'm going to get these in the oven for about, again, 30 minutes to 40 minutes, checking on them. And yeah, I think 2 dozen is good for about 10 people, and we're ready to go. I have to say, it is nice to have 2 ovens in the kitchen, one for the roast and one for extra side dishes. Really helps.
Eric and Philip prepared a few dishes in advance to avoid having stress while hosting their holiday party. As lovers of a traditional Christmas, they baked a mouth-watering figgy pudding and a delicious veal pie to greet guests upon their arrival.
Okay, well, we're unmolding the figgy pudding.
How exciting.
Ah, it's hot.
Wow. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, you can see the rabbit forms, the sleeping rabbit. Ooh, look at all the figs from the inside. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It smells great too.
Yeah, you can see all the figs in here. Nice. All right.
We'll sprinkle that with some powdered sugar later, you said?
Yeah, when that cools, I'll dust the animal with that.
Congratulations.
I'm now preparing the raised pie for the oven. I'm just doing a quick little egg wash over it.
One of the hors d'oeuvres for tomorrow night is going to be tarragon lobster salad in phyllo dough cups. And that's a wonderful recipe I got from the Gourmet Cookbook, thanks to Ruth Reichel, who's helped me out on many an occasion. And we'll be boiling the lobster tails right now for about 10 minutes. I'll take them out, chill them, and marinate them in a lemon juice and tarragon shallot sauce. And then I'll add some mayonnaise to that and let those chill overnight. Put them in the cups tomorrow.
This is technically our second Christmas together in this house. However, last year we spent Christmas in Florida. So since we are actually here this year and able to enjoy this wonderful bucolic setting, we kind of went all out and invited your Homeworthy viewers into our home again, show you how we do things.
This year we're very excited to be here and invite our closest friends to share in our traditional English dinner. And I love this area, and I'm hoping Eric's enjoying getting to know the area too this year. And yeah, it's just been beautiful. It's been snowing this week, and we're so excited to see friends and really get into the holiday spirit with them.
Yes, first snowfall always makes me a little giddy. It brings back childhood memories, I guess, of the anticipation of Christmas and Santa Claus and all of that. And, you know, the house bustling with cooking and baking, that always creates the tension and the lead up to the big day, right?
Oh, and the holly trees around the house are blooming outside with their red berries. It looks so beautiful outside the house.
So the last time you all were here a couple of months ago, Philip and I discussed our rather extensive joined china and crystal collection. So I want to give you all a glimpse of that, and we're going to pick out what we're going to use on today's holiday table. Why don't you come with me? Here we are in a portion of the China room. You're going to see a bit more of it later, but I want to talk about what we're putting on the table today. So we have a wonderful cloth, an antique 19th century cloth, so I thought I would pair that with these 19th century Copeland Spodumare plates that have this beautiful gilt gadroon border on it. So these will be our dinner plate. That's sort of our foundation. And then I'm pairing it with some silver gilt French cutlery. And we're going to use these wonderful 1920s Venetian ruby goblets. And that extraordinary ruby color comes from the gold dust that the glass blowers add to the mixture, which also accounts for the costly price of good ruby glass. So these wonderful Venetian goblets will be our water goblets. And then we have these beautiful Lobmeier Austrian wine glasses that have a stag motif engraved on them. Rudolph, eat your heart out. Look at that guy. So we have those, and then we have the matching champagne coupes in the service as well. And we'll serve the champagne with the dessert course. This has got the turtle doves on it. So now we have covered our table setting. Maybe I'll give you a brief tour of what we have down here. We like to have china for different seasons, different occasions, different holidays. So we have a collection of, there's a service of wonderful spode here, that's a historic service, some Herond, Wedgwood, some wonderful late 18th, early 19th century blue scale with Chelsea birds. We have that, and we've got the plates to match. And then we have a chinoiserie service we used the last time you were here, tobacco leaf, lots of crystal, this wonderful hand-painted modeled tortoiseshell motif. This was done in Limoges. Philip ordered this in France when he was living abroad. And then we have this wonderful thistle stemware, thistle shape with the engraving. His last home was called Thistlehaugh, so that related to the last house. Decanters, candelabras, all kinds of serving pieces. This is a wonderful holiday china. I sort of decided that because this evening was a bit more formal, the Amari would be better with our 19th century tablecloth, but normally like a Christmas Day dinner, this would be our holiday china for Christmas. And then lots of Amari here. We've got some 19th century glassware, 20th century glassware, and then more Limoges, some wonderful historic crystal. So for summer gatherings and things that are more casual, we have a lot of blue and white as well. And some of this is quite historic. This is early 19th century. And we've got 18th century. It's wonderful Cowley tea bowls. And lots of late 19th century willow and spode Italian. So that's something we like to do on crisp white linen in the summer, preferably outside. And then going towards autumn, we have wonderful accessories in amber Georgian cut glass, and we've got some gold-plated serving trays as well as silver-plated serving trays for drinks and the like. We've even got a table set up down here so that when we're experimenting with place settings, we can lay things out. Now today, you see our collection of 17th and 18th century Delft and some Meissen pieces. These were all removed from our family room to make room for other decorations. So they're just kind of cluttering up this table but at the moment, but normally we have this for laying out place settings. So this is a favorite service of both Philip and myself. We each had the same pattern when we got together, so it's been a marriage of china as well as life. And this is a chinoiserie pattern that's based on a 18th century Sèvres service. Wonderful black ground with gilt decoration. So this is something we like to use when we have a large gathering because obviously we have quite a bit of it.
So we've started another holiday tradition between the two of us, and that is I love to give Eric these sterling silver ornaments. And last year, for the first year together, I found this little silver soldier, and this year I found this silver nutcracker. And we love sterling silver. In fact, our first date was going to an auction for tabletop in silver in New York. And Eric really loves silver ornaments for the tree. So this is year number 2 we're embarking on, and we have 2 ornaments.
So in decorating the house, Philip mentioned nutcracker soldiers, and I have German heritage, and my mother is from Germany. And a traditional annual custom was that I would receive one of these handmade nutcracker soldiers from Germany from my grandmother every December. And back in the old days, in the early 70s, we'd get these enormous packages wrapped in brown paper and cord and twine and stamps all over it. And they took a month or 2 to arrive. The first nutcracker is this one that I received. I think it was like in 1975. And the package literally arrived from Germany Christmas Eve at 6 p.m., just before we were getting ready to have dinner. And of course I had to have my mother cut it open and take this out. And so this is the first one of many that followed annually. He had a sword, but I had a very military-minded, precocious younger brother that liked to play with the swords. So some of them went missing and this little horn got glued on in its place. But these were all handcrafted. This is actually rabbit fur hair, and they have these varying expressions of ferocity. They're considered a good luck token in a German household. They frighten off evil spirits and they protect the house. And it's a tradition that began in the late 17th century in Saxony and continued to this day. And then, of course, Tchaikovsky wrote his famous Nutcracker Suite, and that has embedded it in popular culture forever, I think.
And they also give very good advice. The guests will be here in less than 2 hours. Let's get the show on the road.
I'm now turning out the champagne jellies, and what this is basically champagne, sugar, and gelatin. And you prepare it in a way that you cook some of the champagne with the gelatin to soften it, and then you have to wait for it to cool, and then you add cold champagne at the end, hopefully to trap some of the bubbles from the champagne in the jelly. And what I'm doing is they were molded in these wonderful 19th century English copper molds, and I have one out already on the stand. Got a little wet. I think what you have to do is immerse it in some hot water to loosen it up. So I'm not going to do it as long for this one. For our drinking purposes and cocktails, we're going to have Veuve Clicquot, but for the champagne jelly, I think it was a little bit of a waste, so I used domestic Corbel champagne for this. So this is going to be the tricky mold. I'm hoping and praying that this does not make a mess. And then I'll garnish the edge with fresh raspberries before they go on the table. They were molded overnight, so I prepared these last night. And I've got a very stubborn one here, so I think it's going to have to go back in the hot water. You can see some of the foam from the champagne chilled on the top. Sorry, my hands are clean. Here we go. Well, let's try this again. Oh, I heard something. Yay!
Oh, wow.
All right.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So I think I should get these back in the refrigerator to set again on the bottom. Or I can dry some of this up with paper towel and then add my berries. But here we have our 19th century mold, our champagne jelly that I'll garnish with berries.
So today we're making a roast of prime rib, and this is going to take 3.5 hours because it's a 12-pounder. Now I've taken the meat and I've marinated this for about 2 days with an orange zest and sage rub. So this is ready now to come out of its marinating bin. I'm going to put it in the roasting pan. And this kind of roast has bones on the bottom, so it does not need a rack in the pan. And what I'm going to do now is add some onions and shallots around the base of the pan, because these will caramelize during the process and be nice to add as decorations to the serving platter at the end. So I've got the oven turned up to 425. I'm going to cook this for about half an hour at that temperature, and then I'm going to lower it to 325, and this cooks about 15 minutes per pound at that temperature. So this is all ready to go in the oven. I've got a nice gas oven here, and this is going in. So here we go. And we'll see how that is in half an hour. So we're making Lithuanian potato latkes. My father loved making these every year at Christmas time. I would make him a goose and these latkes. I've already rendered the goose fat. I cooked a 10-pound goose earlier this week. So we're going to fry the potato pancakes in light olive oil, but mostly goose fat. That'll give them a really rich, sweet taste. So I'm just mixing up 2 eggs with about 10 russet potatoes that I've shredded and rinsed and wrung out all of the excess water. I'm going to add these 2 eggs and some salt and finish this mixture now. And I've gotten to the point where I sort of eyeball things now. This is supposed to take a teaspoon of salt. To me, that looks like about a teaspoon. I'm going to add just a little bit more because I added slightly more potatoes to this recipe. And my mother was a bacteriologist, and she always stressed the importance of washing your hands constantly in the kitchen, and also take off your jewelry when you're cooking. I always see all these people wearing rings, and that's just bacteria magnets. So I'm just going to mix this all together with my hands, becoming one with nature. And once this is all properly mixed, I'm going to add it to the hot oil, and we'll see how these turn out. I'm not using any flour because there's a lot of starch already in the potato. And now that the excess starch is taken out, these shouldn't turn brown also. So we are ready to start frying our latkes. I usually do these, 2-inch size dollops in the oil. And I'm going to do 5 per pan. And these will go for about 5 minutes per side. And I'm about to compress them once they're in the oil. So you sort of have to eyeball this in terms of how fast they cook. I like them to be sort of golden brown. Sometimes they get a little overdone on the edges. But I'm now going to compress the latkes, press them down a little bit. That'll help make them a little more compact and easier to flip when they're ready to flip. And the goose grease smells great. So you just watch it for about 5 minutes, and then you'll flip them. Then they're golden brown. Let them cook another 5 minutes on the other side, and they look like that when they're finished. So some of these are ready to flip. So it looks sort of like that on the other side, sort of golden brown. This one too is ready. That's perfect, that one. The ones that are not over the flame are a little Well, you can turn that over, do a little longer on that side if you wish, but I kind of like them golden brown. For some reason, the oil is not as hot as it is on this side of the pan. These look like they could go a little longer before I flip them. So I've got 3 latkes here in the pan that are finished, and once I take these out, I'm going to take the roast out of the oven and baste that, and try and get some juices for the gravy that I'm making for the roast. So latkes, here we go. And when you're entertaining and you don't have time to do a lot of cleanup in between making dishes, just take everything out to your garage and wash it later. Oh my God, the smoke detectors are going off. That's the alarm. I gotta call the fire department or they're gonna come. Oh. So I've made a sage and onion gravy from the drippings from the pan of the roast, and that's the best way. Traditionally, I take a really hot roasting pan that the roast has been cooking in, and I add about a half a stick of butter, and then I add about a cup of flour. And then I have about 4 cups of beef stock that I've made to add to that. So I let the flour absorb all the oil and butter in the pan. It becomes sort of a nutty brown color and flavor, and then I add the broth. Then I also add about a cup of red wine, and salt and pepper, of course, to taste. But I try and cook the gravy in the actual roasting pan. So it picks up all of the caramelized onion bits and the herbs and everything that's on the roast. Then I'll cook that and I'll strain it through a strainer and put it in a pot, which I've done now. So this is the final gravy, and it smells wonderful. And it's been, again, strained, so it'll be very pleasant to have on the beef. And it's just all the flavors are concentrated. So I will have, I'll cook this down a little more to make it a richer texture, so that all of the beef stock can boil down, and it'll be a more syrupy, thicker gravy. So it's now 4 o'clock. The guests are here in 1 hour. I believe the roast is ready, so I'm going to take it out and test it with a meat thermometer. I'd like this to be medium rare, which is about 135 degrees inside the meat. Oh boy, look at that. Wow. Wow, it's going to be well done. Oh boy. Well, let's see, we're gonna let it rest now. Oh, I almost forgot. I love to put fresh sprigs of rosemary on my platters when I'm decorating a buffet. So I'm gonna head out to the herb garden and get that right now. So it was a great summer for the herb garden. Wonderful things that did well, especially the rosemary. Really lush and rich. And this is such a great thing to use for making marinades in, with roasted leg of lamb or even a roast beef, although I used fresh sage this time around. But the rosemary has such a nice pine smell. It's very Christmassy. And I love how it looks on platters, when you're decorating platters. So I think I have enough here for the roast beef platter. And this will keep growing next summer too. So I'm just finishing up in here with the sauce, and Eric is in the dining room now, and he's ready to show you all his hard work this afternoon. He's done a beautiful job setting the table. It really is one of our finest tables that we've ever done. Go have a look.
I'm doing final placement here. These are Christmas crackers. We've got one at each place setting. And I'll talk a little bit about how we've set the table. So our great friends, Lee and Tom from Bedminster Florists, delivered this wonderful fresh cut centerpiece last night, and we're so grateful for all their talent and all of their help. and they're people that Philip has used for many years. So we created a foundation with this cloth, which is a 19th century paisley shawl. And I'm even wearing shoes to match. They're also made out of 19th century shawls. My friend Percy from Stubbs and Wootton gave me these. He's the creator of the brand. So in honor of doing that. And when we looked in the china room, I showed you the wonderful Amari plates that we're using, the Amari, and the beautiful antique Venetian ruby goblets and the Lobmeyer crystal claret glasses and champagnes. And we have lovely embroidered napkins, a little bishop's hat in the center. And the cutlery we have, this is silver gilt, so it's gold over sterling silver. This is French cutlery for the dinner course. And then for the dessert course, we have this fabulous English Regency period agate-handled cutlery. This was made in the 1820s by a silversmith called William Chawner, and it has a wonderful armorial crest engraved on each piece, the spoon bowls and the fork tines. So those are a special treat for our guests. They do not come out very often. And then we have beautiful gilt bronze Louis XIV or Regence period candlesticks and candelabrum. And you'll see that we also have a menu card. We have 4 of them strategically placed, and this tells our guests the wine that's being served, and then the courses of food, and then the next course with the wines and the food. So Philip and I share a passion for tabletop, and we're both collectors, and Philip is actually a dealer. He has a magnificent Instagram account called Gracious Tables, in which he features and sells marvelous antique silver, porcelain, and glass. And since this is a shared passion of ours, and we really believe in entertaining graciously and beautifully, our mindset is that we really need to preserve certain traditions in our culture that seem to be slipping through the cracks because people are in such a hurry. And for us to put all of this out on a table for our guests is an expression of our love for the people that we've invited, the love for what we're doing, the love for what we collect, and it's art and it's jewelry for the table. So we really like to go all out, and we think that that's the best way that you can show your guests how much you care about them. So the flame height of the candle is perfect to illuminate everyone, and we've got votives on the table that will cast a little uplight around the centerpiece, but this really allows people to face their dinner partner across the table and have easy conversation. So a couple of touches that we like to do, in addition to having the menu cards written out on the table, is to have place cards. And the reason we like to do placed seating for a dinner table is to introduce new people who may not have been here before to others. They may be meeting for the first time, and also to kind of stimulate conversation between different parties that are at the table. It also, the larger the table and the larger the group, it makes it an easier and more seamless way to seat people, as opposed to no names and then the awkward pause of everyone standing around and then a mad dash to grab a seat. We think it just brings a little bit of more order and civility to the table. But again, really the main reason is to stimulate conversation between old and new friends who are gathered here. So this is clearly a very opulent table because Christmas is a very important time of year to us. Philip and I certainly subscribe to the more is more philosophy when it comes to just about everything. However, we don't always go to quite this extent. Certain elements carry throughout any kind of entertaining that we do, but we can just as easily do a casual kitchen supper at the kitchen table for 4 to 6 close friends, or 6 people out in the gazebo in the garden during the summertime. But it really, the time of year and the occasion and the number of people involved really dictate the level of formality that we carry into the table settings. So this is our dessert buffet, and the centerpiece of which is this magnificent gingerbread house, or knusper house, which Philip lovingly built every inch of it. And as you see, beautifully decorated with candy tiles and silver droggies and gumdrops and every good thing. So that's our focal point. And then we have the champagne jelly with berries that you saw me unmold from the antique mold. This is the raised game pie, which is the veal and venison. And then this is the figgy pudding, actually made with figs and currants, and that gets served with this beautiful custard sauce on top of it. And I've got another champagne jelly. And then here we have our marzipan fruits, our ginger biscuits, and this is a German Dresden Stollen cake. So that is our dessert buffet.
Well, we've been talking about Christmases past in our childhoods, and my father told a funny story of when he was a little boy in Lithuania. They lived in a very small village called Kybartai, and they were a struggling family financially, and money was always tight at Christmas, but one gift was a box of magnificent wrapped candy. And my grandfather hung the Christmas tree with this beautifully wrapped candy. My father was so excited, but they had to wait until Christmas morning to eat it. So everyone got up very early Christmas morning and they went to the tree, and the children started unwrapping this hard candy, and my uncle Adolf had eaten all of the candy and replaced the candy with balls of bread. So someone ended up with a lump of coal the following year for that stunt, but it was
Probably something else too.
At any rate. So my father always loved to talk about these stories of his impoverished childhood. He would tuck us into bed at night telling us what he called Muckus stories, and Muckus was this little boy, and all of these ridiculous things happened to him with bad luck, and yeah. It was a way for him to teach us compassion and to be grateful for the candy canes on the tree. That's one of my favorite Christmas stories.
Earlier in the day, Eric and Philip went to pick up a few last-minute holiday decorations at the Magic Shop, one of their favorite spots for finding antiques and gifts.
Well, it's time to do the grocery shopping, and our go-to place for that is Wegmans in Bridgewater. They have everything, right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. We're in the historic village of Oldwick, New Jersey, near our home, and we're shopping in a wonderful magic place called the Magic Shop, which is a retail location that is set up to benefit the Bonnie Bray Residential Treatment Center for Underserved Youth. And it's one of our favorite go-to destinations for holiday gifts and host gifts. So let's have a look around, shall we? Oh, look at this wonderful 19th century beehive and this fabulous crowned lion. This will work well with our British ornaments there, our homage to London, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I think we need a couple of these. We have Christmas crackers for the table, place setting for our guests. That's a traditional English custom. And then I found these wonderful ornaments that we've already had a look at. See the beautiful pheasant?
What I also love about the Magic Shop is they have incredible toys, old-fashioned toys, beautifully made toys, and great costumes for kids. So it's a real fantasy store for the little ones too, not just the adults looking for table decorations. I have a lump of coal, or I have this Gaspari advent calendar that I'm really excited about.
And what do you do with an advent calendar?
Well, you open each day, there's a little paper window you can open and see a surprise or some sort of important holiday message.
And pretty.
Yeah. On the 25th is the final day, Christmas Day, and there's usually a very beautiful image.
Wonderful.
And it just keeps going and going. Here's another wonderful table in the back of the Magic Shop. Wonderful linens here. Again, more holiday glassware and linens. It's a real treat for the eyes. Oh boy, bow ties. I think I have to get this lobster one. Oh, yeah, for the summer. What'd you get?
Well, we've got our Christmas crackers and the Christmas ornaments to place on the tree when we get home, so let's make our way. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how we decorate for the holidays. We're both fairly traditional, so the foyer is definitely the if you call it the money shot. When people enter, they get this very traditional experience outside with the urns on the pedestals and the garland. And so we sort of carried that in around the doorways, on the balcony, and the stair banisters. Very classic kind of decoration. Prefer artificial mainly because we don't want to be chopping down trees for that, but also we don't want sappy needles all over the house and all over the stairs because they are up for quite a while. The tree goes up right after Thanksgiving, and it's a couple-day affair, just setting the tree up, getting all the ornaments unpacked, and then starting to place them. And what I've done is little groupings that mean something to us. So we've got these London beefeaters and the Queen, the late Queen, and the British telephone box, to a little homage to London where Philip was living for about a decade. And then we've got our Glenda the Good Witch and the Wizard of Oz and the Ruby Slippers. Have a little theme going there. And then there's a wonderful New York theme going on over here on this side of the tree. We've got Radio City Hall and the New York tour bus and Statue of Liberty and Empire State Building, and even Superman flying over. So that's our little homage to New York, where we both spent quite a lot of our youth. The Nutcracker collection, and I had to fill in with a few newer ones just to sort of beef it all up, and Philip found these wonderful large-scale ones online, and they're actually handmade wooden working nutcrackers. So we've got a collection mirroring each other on either side on the eagle consoles in the foyer. Now, going into the living room, it's a bit more restrained, and that's sort of my interior designer genes coming through, because when a room is already very decorated and very finished, I hate mucking it up with all kinds of Christmas gobbledygook. I think it really takes away from a well-decorated house, so you have to use a very spare hand. So really, what I concentrated on here was to do a tablescape on this coffee table, which has a patinated silver leaf finish and antique mirror top. And what I've done is we have this collection of 1820s to 1840s covered crystal compotes, and I filled them with very classic Christmas candy, ribbon candy, and some of these have the silver almond dragées. But I did a collection of these candy compotes with candy in it, and then just some ornaments and decoration in the center to sort of lift it up. And as for additional trees in the house, I really like to have one main tree that's decorated, which we have in our foyer. But I brought in a pair of small artificial flocked trees just to give a little bit of romance and a little coziness to this bay window area. Very simple. And that's really all this room needs, because there's lots of glittery objects in here that remain in here all the time. So those are our permanent Christmas ornaments. So in the great room, we also did very spare decoration, because the room is a very finished, decorated room with a lot going on in it already. So we have our fireplace, and really just decorate the manteltop and sort of call that a day. We have some silver and glassware laid out for our guests. Soon I'll be very shortly filling that champagne cooler with ice and a bottle of champagne, and Philip will bring in some hors d'oeuvres, and this will be the staging area for our first level of hospitality before the dinner. And we also have a menorah on the coffee table that is in honor of a couple of our guests that will be attending this evening to celebrate their holiday as well. We like to keep an ecumenical spirit in the house. You have anything to add to that?
Yes, that was my late partner's menorah. And I had never been exposed to any of the Jewish holidays before I met him, and they've been wonderful. Really historical and beautiful ceremonies and incredible food. So we have that little touch of the past. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, come light the menorah. We'll have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather around the table, we'll give you a treat. Dreidels to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning bright. And while we are playing, the candles are burning bright. One for each night they shed a great light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a great light to remind us of days long ago. Ho, ho.
Very good.
Here we are in the music room of the house, and this is where we're going to gather and sing some Christmas carols after dinner tonight. It really is sort of the party room in the house because people like to sing karaoke along with the player piano, and Eric and I will play the piano too, and we'll do some singing. But the piano was a perfect place to set up this creche. This is a beautiful terracotta hand-painted creche painted by monks in Eastern Europe that I purchased from the Magic Shop in Oldwick. And you've seen our clips already of the Magic Shop. And we bought a lot of things at the Magic Shop to decorate the home over the years, not just for Christmas. They have wonderful toys for children, wonderful coffee table books, jewelry, vintage clothing, contemporary clothing, wonderful objects and home goods for the house, table decorations, and porcelain, china, glassware. It's been a fun place for me to go and make additions to my own table setting collection. But what I love about the Magic Shop the most is that the proceeds from all of their sales go to support the Bonnie Bray Residential Treatment Center for Underserved Youth. And I'll be making another donation to Bonnie Bray this year, and I hope you will consider making one too. Thank you. Okay, so at 5:30, while the guests are still in the living room, I'm going to leave and carve the meat, make the Yorkshire pudding, and get everything out of the ovens and put everything on the buffet.
Right.
But I need you to light the candles in the
Yeah.
dining room, on the table, and the
Stage
votives.
the dining room.
Yeah, and fill the
Perfect.
water glasses and all that.
Perfect.
All right?
All right.
Great. Thanks. I cooked this a little longer than I wanted to, but it's still pink inside and juicy, so it's not entirely overdone. But I have to be mindful about this oven. It's a new oven for me to use, and it gets really hot, even though the thermometer told me it was at 325. It really, really cooked quickly, but it's still juicy and perfect. It should be nice.
Hi, you're the
Lisa.
first.
Oh my God, how fabulous.
How
Oh my God,
fabulous.
going. Oh my God, your house looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful yourself.
Thank you so much.
Ooh.
I've got to represent
Christmas.
for the dinner with you too. This is for you.
Oh, sweet.
Both
Oh,
of
you shouldn't
Thank you.
have.
Obviously,
Thank you.
Here,
Lovely.
share the handles.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Welcome.
How are
Welcome.
you?
How are you?
Good to see you.
John.
Merry
Nice to
Christmas.
see you. Merry Christmas.
Hi,
Merry
how
Christmas.
Are you?
Hello.
Christmas.
How are you,
Nice
Dapper?
to see you. Thank you.
Oh, well,
Little
thank you
treat.
very
Thank you
much.
so
Nice.
much.
Thank you.
Come here, you
Your
want
friend, this is
My
Elizabeth.
tiger.
Lisa, I
the
guess.
leopardo. Well, come into the living room. Come in. We're
Oh, nice.
Eric did some decorations here with the holiday candy. Kristen, how are you? Hi, Andrew.
Great.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. It's great
Hi,
to see you.
you too. Oh, I love it. The red outfits. So festive. How are you?
Oh, you look so handsome.
You look so nice too. I love this. Ed, hi.
How are you?
Good. How are
Good.
you? Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally ready. So I invite you into the dining room. There's a buffet.
Dinner is served.
And we can partake in the feast. Interesting part. Eric and I were both holding the roof for 15 minutes, hoping it would
Trying to get it
fall down
set.
because there were no flying buttresses for the gingerbread house. In the back.
Oh, you did flying butters.
You did a great job.
I can raise a glass.
Here we are.
Philip and I would like to thank you all for making it here this evening and making our evening so special. And we wanted to wish each and every one of you a wonderful, wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, a happy new year filled with every blessing, good health, and all of that.
And all that jazz, right? Cheers. Cheers.
New friends, thank you all for coming. That is so nice. Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having all of us. It's
a pleasure.
so
Cheers.
nice
Cheers.
and so lovely.
And with that, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you to Jackson, Mississippi, where two of our favorite hosts, Eric Kegler and Brennan Hovel, show us how to entertain with ease for the holidays. In just 5 hours, they're having a Christmas party for more than 50 people and show us how they prepare. From the signature drinks to the festive home decor, discover how to throw the ultimate holiday soirée with a delicious twist. So get in the holiday spirit with us as Eric and Brennan pull off a fabulous holiday party. You won't want to miss this. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Brennan Hovel.
And I'm Eric Kegler. Welcome back to our home in Jackson, Mississippi.
Today we're hosting a holiday party for over 50 guests.
And we only have 5 hours to put this together, so we need to get started. Come on in.
Come on, let's go.
Welcome back to our house, Homeworthy. We are getting ready to throw a party for 50 of our friends for this holiday.
50-ish. Like we always tell everybody, just like bring a +1, bring a guest. It's a great way to meet new people and kick off the holiday season. So 50-something.
So we do this annually. We really find it a great way to kind of kick off the holiday season. But we thought we'd kind of show you how we do set up for our holiday party. I usually make a signature cocktail, so we're going to kind of work on that a little bit and talk about like the catering that's sort of happening. It's a busy time of year for us, so we bring in a lot of friends to give us a little bit of help, but we also try and keep it simple for ourselves because we do a lot of holiday decor, which we're going to kind of show you inside our house to show around a little bit.
And we love just a fun, casual hangout party not too formal, just everybody getting together, having a good time, celebrating the season.
So let us show you kind of what we do and take you around the yard.
So we are so excited that everybody finally gets to see our backyard. In our last episode, it had iced the day before we filmed, and so we didn't get to see the backyard. So it's so exciting that we're doing this holiday party in our backyard, and we have a 14-foot tree in the center of the backyard, and tons of help getting it all ready for us.
Which always makes us really excited because our backyard always sort of looks its best like at Christmas because it's such a good season here in Jackson, Mississippi. So the weather is beautiful and it's just such a nice festive time for us to sort of sit and like pull out the best of our backyard. And Brendan has worked so hard on the backyard through the years that it's always nice to sort of show it off for our guests.
Yeah.
So part of what we do at our store is we decorate a lot of houses and businesses for Christmas. And one of our deep, dark secrets is if you want to decorate a tree really quickly, we purchase these like pre-done garlands that are really, really lovely to fill in your tree. It really is kind of, it's not every tree that we do this on, but there are certain trees where you're kind of moving or need to move quickly. And this is great for like people with kids, that it really fills in your tree quickly and makes it look finished without a whole lot of effort.
So follow us this way. We'll go through the gazebo, and this is where we're gonna have the what is it? The chocolate martini something.
Don't talk about things you don't know. So I've made an espresso chocolate martini, hot chocolate martini with marshmallow cream whip for our guests tonight. It was my one addition. We're having the party catered and things, but I always like to do something a little special that's kind of a little different. So this is where we kind of are gonna do that display.
And he loves chocolate, so.
I do love chocolate, so it's really great. And then if y'all wander through the gazebo, it opens you up to our amazing backyard, which really was featured in Southern Living in the 80s, which was kind of fun and really special about the whole thing. But when we got here, it had been really in disrepair. So it's taken the last almost decade for us to kind of like, well, I say us, for Brennan to bring it into fruition. I just come out here and watch. It's really what I do.
So this is a great spot. We enjoy hanging out here. It's tons of fun. But back over here is where we're gonna do the main bar. It's so fun to throw a party in this yard because people get to wander through and just hang out in different little spots, which is great.
Yeah, it really is kind of great. There are all these little circles that were created in the backyard that we use like for a fire pit, and we use some for seating, and there's a whole area up here that we end up sort of putting the bar, and we a lot of times will even use like the potting area that Brennan has created to do food out here. So it really makes a nice circle through the house, which is why it's so great to have a party here. This was actually a great party house.
It's really a perfect party house. So we have, setup is happening right now. We've got tables, chairs set up. We're gonna do like seated stuff out here. We've got golf carts so we can transport everybody. Back here is where the bar is getting set up.
So, and tonight we have 4 signature cocktails that are coming in with different sort of, there's a gin cocktail, a scotch cocktail, a vodka cocktail. I can't remember the last one that we created. Plenty of cocktails, and some amazing like champagne and mixers for champagne. We enjoy sort of the aspect, like when we throw a party, of like really sort of doing some different things and making it a little more interactive for our guests. We kind of find that's really kind of a fun part of like keeping people at a party at our house, is like interactive things and things that are kind of fun. Like as we take you down, there's an area we're doing like wood-fired pizzas tonight, which is really kind of fun.
Outdoor wood, they're bringing in outdoor pizza oven, which is gonna be exciting. And then we've also got a ugly sweater cookie competition happening.
That is actually a tradition with a couple that we hang out with a lot, that every year we have done, that we take ugly sweater cookies and we decorate them. So this year we kind of expanded it to like do it for all of our friends. So it's kind of fun. We're excited tonight.
And the ugliest sweater is gonna win a prize at the end of the night.
So decor-wise, every year we try and change it up a little bit color-wise. This year we kind of went really traditional. We've had kind of a fascination with red, and so we adapted red and green. So our tablecloths are like this really beautiful, like sort of pale green, and we have velvets that are in the garage. So if we want to kind of show you along, we can go in the garage and kind of take you on a little more of a tour of the holiday decor.
Follow us this way. So welcome to our garage. This is
Doesn't quite look
obviously
like a garage
not the
right
normal garage. We have cleaned it out. The treadmill's hidden. The workout equipment is all hidden.
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite. But so when we bought this house, we thought this was such a great spot to really entertain people. We've thrown Thanksgiving dinners out here for 25 people, put a long table in the middle. It really has been a great spot for entertaining.
And we created these doors in the garage so that we didn't end up with the problem of the mechanics of a garage door. So it was partially, we really did think of this as being sort of a party spot. So one of the things I'll tell you that's hidden behind here is this is actually where we keep like all our platters and everything for like all our parties and stuff. We tuck all of this back here. So all this along here is shelving and things that we hide all of our party supplies in. One of the things—
The drape is temporary.
The drape is temporary, yes. We have a great company that we work side by side with that helps us do when we do party decor and stuff that has been really helpful. So they came in and
TWG events.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and we can kind of show you, is so this is kind of like the tablecloth sort of that we selected for this year, which, as I said, was like great velvets. There's red velvets and green velvets, and then there's this really great sort of holiday cloth with the chocolate brown that just cuts all of that traditional decor down just a little bit.
And I think using the chocolate brown with the red and green just seems a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more elevated. And
yes. And so we kind of did that. We were going to set up food tables in here. So our friends actually we have two different caterers coming to do the event. Our friends from Walker's are coming to actually do the food. And our friend Danny from For Heaven's Cakes is actually doing all the dessert setup. So we're really excited. You know, it's so lovely throwing this party because it becomes so much about all of our friends and things coming in, which is great, and bringing us some of their things with our things and mixing it together, which is kind of really fun. The cookie station is actually the thing that I'm really excited about this year, just because I think it's really going to be fun. We had a local bakery that sat and made us all of these like undecorated little sweater sugar cookies that we're going to put out and have everybody kind of decorate with icing and things, which I think will be fun. And it gave us a chance to bring out a piece that Brent and I have had since we first opened our store.
I think we bought that snowman head 10 years ago?
Yeah.
10 years ago, and have never really used it. It's been in our warehouse. It's been collecting dust. Eric's mom came over and scrubbed it clean so we could use it finally. Super excited to have it as a centerpiece in this room today.
Yeah, so as much as we talk about the fact that this is our holiday party, the truth is we have a lot of hands come in to help us do all of this. So we're really grateful for all of it.
We do much better with help.
Doesn't everybody?
One of our favorite outdoor centerpieces for like a seated table kind of thing is to just do like a collection of a bunch of candles. We've collected over the years these weird wood blocks that are awesome to just pile different candles up on top of. And so we will just load these up with candles.
And then we have these cute little simple flower arrangements that we tuck in and nestle in with them, which is one of our favorite things to do. As we said, it keeps it simple. This is a really busy time of year for us. So while we love sort of throwing the party, the truth is we also try and keep some simple ideas going for this party so that it doesn't get too overwhelming for us as we kind of come in to do this. It's partially why we have it catered and we do the different things, is just to make sure that the party is nice, but that we're not so overwhelmed by it that it's going to be hard for us to pull all this off. So we were super excited that our friends are sort of bringing in this stand. So our friend Jennifer, oh, she's over there. So she can tell you a little bit more about the food that's coming in here.
I have beef tartare with garlic aioli, crispy capers. We have a fresh fig tart coming in with pistachio and drizzled honey.
Yum.
That sounds good.
We have a Kate meat and cheese board. We have spinach and artichoke with crostini. Sliced portobello mushrooms, which is our signature, with spicy comeback on this table.
And if you don't know what comeback dressing is, you got to come to Mississippi to figure it out.
This is true.
I'm getting back to work.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so one of the things that Jennifer is going to do for us is she's brought cypress actually from her farm that she's actually going to help us decorate sort of to kind of create this space to sort of make it look more festive and nice tonight. So she's going to help us with a little bit of decor. We've been working hard inside the house, so we've got a little help working outside the house.
We've known Jennifer probably for 12 years. Her and her husband, Derek, own 3 restaurants in town and have a catering business. We used to own an event rental and design business, and we've since sold it, but we developed a friendship and a relationship with them through that, and have maintained our friendship and love them, love their restaurants, and they have amazing food. Wait till you see the outdoor pizza oven that's coming.
And I'll also say, you know, living in Jackson, like I've lived here for 25 years and Brendan has lived here 12 years. Community is really important to everybody here. And so kind of it's an interesting way that like connection becomes really important. And I feel like it's just kind of you develop these friendships through the years with people that each have a talent or a gift. And so it's kind of a nice way that we live in our city. It really does kind of create a really nice vibe that so many of our friends work in jobs or whatever that we all try and do for each other as we are working together.
Yeah. It's great to help each other out.
Yeah.
So Eric and I have been in this house for 10 years. Finally, about a year and a half ago, completed all the renovations. And the house and garden are really kind of where we wanted it to be.
So we bought the house from Betty Love McClarty. The house was actually the original first lot on Northside Drive in Jackson, Mississippi. It was built in
52.
And really the McClarty house was really known as the party house of Northside Drive. So the yard and the gardens and everything were all built to create this huge party atmosphere, which we promised Betty Love when we bought the house and met with her. We promised her that we would not only bring the house back to its original glory, but that we would continue the tradition of making it a party house.
And it really has been a really special place to have a party. And when we bought the house, all of the neighbors to either side of us were the original neighbors. And recently we lost one of the original neighbors to the right of us, and her son was over here today helping us get ready, and was excited to see just that the life of what these women created on this street is still happening today.
We kind of thought while it was quiet and before all the guests arrive and all the hubbub starts for the party that we would kind of walk you through our house and show a little of how we've decorated our house for Christmas.
In our foyer, we've got part of my mom's Santa collection. When my mom passed, it's one of the things that I got from her. And so it's kind of fun that it's right here in the beginning of the front of the house that people get to see it.
And what's kind of interesting actually is that both Brendan's mom and my mom collected Santas. So we have both Santas from both of our families actually, which is kind of makes it sort of special. So welcome to our living room. With all the color in here, Brendan and I really kind of thought that we would focus on keeping a more monochromatic decor in here as far as the tree was concerned and the garland. So we went with a really saturated red. We kind of felt like, it was super holiday festive and really...
And we hadn't done an all red tree in a really long time, so...
So part of what we did was I layered a lot of the velvet garland. I found this velvet leaf garland that was from a company that we love, Windward, and I used massive amounts of it. I think there's like 12 garlands on this tree to really fill it in. Focused on ornaments that we love, a company called Jingle Nog, and we also put Radco on the tree and really filled everything in on the tree to kind of really, again, like filled it with color. We love a hand-blown glass ornament, which is sort of the really dangly hanging ornament. which was really kind of just adds the luster, like when the light sort of floats through it. And one of the things for us too, as we work on like where we place a tree in a room, is also not only in the room, but also how it floats outside, so that basically you can see everything from the exterior of the house. Becomes really important.
One of my favorite things about this tree is the tree topper, which is not really a tree topper. It is a Santa, and these are all one-of-a-kind Santas made by Elaine Rosale, who was voted
By Time
Magazine as the #2 Santa maker in the country. All the faces are hand-painted. All of the fur is real fur.
And all the decor is actually vintage or antique toys and ornaments and things. But one of the things about it is kind of how I do this, is my deep dark secret, is there's actually like a stand that sits inside the tree, real deep in there, that I zip tie to the actual tree structure. And that helps me to get it wedged in there. And then he is gently zip tied to the top of the tree. So it is kind of my...
You can't do Christmas without a zip tie.
Yeah, no, that is my favorite friend, is a zip tie. It is kind of how I get everything rigged into these trees most of the time.
So while our moms collected Santas, the Elaine Rosale collection is kind of our collection that we started doing on our own. And so there's actually 2 of her Santas up here. He's a little separate guy that's zip tied in there.
Counting the outside tree, which is really, I will say, a party tree that we really kind of set up for the party. There are 5 trees in our house. There is a living room tree. There are 2 smaller family room trees. And then there's a master bedroom tree. Brent and I like to put a little Christmas, like where we spend time. Yeah. And also like where our friends spend time when they come to the house. So we like to make sure that off the dining room, there's always a little bit of Christmas. And especially for the party every year, because we kind of let guests float through the whole house, we like to make sure that as they're making the circle, which is always really important as you're throwing a party, make sure you work on how you function the circle with food and bar and like how people like congregate when you create that flow of a circle, but within the circle that they always get a little bit of Christmas everywhere they are.
Give them a reason throughout the house to go somewhere, so that way everybody kind of moves around.
Go somewhere that's beyond liquor.
Right. A big collection of our Elaine Rosale Santas are on the mantle. This is the first year we've done this. We actually had a friend of ours that does ironwork create this metal structure in order to get this shape to the garland. So it's mounted to the mantle and then curves around and then mounted to the mantle here, curves up. I tied each one of these little bows. If you know anything about me, that is not what I normally do. It's tedious little work like that, but we did it. But this is a great collection of the Elaine Rosale Santas. You can see all the vintage toys that she uses to adorn the Santas with, and hand paints all the faces. They're really all very special and all one of a kind.
And one of the things we really worked on, since this was so dramatic and all of the red was really dramatic, was making sure that we used the same components in the garland that we used on the tree. So all the ornaments, all the different garlands, or all the components that we used on the tree, so that everything kind of connects together. Because we do know that while our living room is not humongous in size, that we wanted to make sure that kind of the drama of this felt like it was cohesive together.
And since we did all red in this room this year, we thought that Big Daddy Santa belonged in this room in a special chair.
So Big Daddy Santa was one of the vintage pieces that Brennan bought back for me. It was actually in a florist's in Dayton, Ohio for 50 years. They used it as part of their display in their windows. And so this was actually the Santa that Brennan drove in his car.
He rode with me in the passenger seat. so I could go in the carpool lane, you know.
But he's one of our favorite pieces. We move him around the house every year. He's kind of fun. It's always enjoyable watching people sort of walk in, because he's shockingly large for, like, you know, a stuffed Santa.
And I think he was probably originally a Coca-Cola Santa that they used in a grocery store display, probably in the 50s, 40s, that kind of thing.
So, you know, one of the things about the holiday season is that it's always just been really important to Brett and I. When we first met, it was really one of the things we talked about, was that Christmas was meant to be special and celebrated well between the two of us.
And so it used to be that meant we would buy each other a ton of gifts. And as we have grown and as the years have gone by, it really has been more about who we spend the time with and how we celebrate the season. And this party is one of those ways that we can celebrate with our friends and our family and people that we care about and really kick off the season well.
And Christmas has always been really important, especially in decor. Just, when we decided to open the store, my real dream was that I always wanted New York Christmas in our store. And so I felt no different about our house. Like, really, one of the things we wanted was that it was magical and that really this is where people get inspired by Christmas and they're inspired by the holiday and they get excited about the season. So,
and a little sneak peek, it's where Christmas comes alive, right?
This is true, actually. So a lot of times we come up with a theme for the store, and so we are actually celebrating the theme for the store tonight as part of the party, which is kind of fun, actually.
Which is where Christmas comes alive.
Yes. So I think, Christmas when I was a kid was always really... I was a kid that woke up with like the train tracks running around the living room and everything. So I think Christmas has always held a really special place in my heart, just as something that was magical and that it was meant to sort of inspire you and give you energy. I won't lie, sometimes decorating a Christmas tree, it kind of saps me, but the truth is, at the end of it, seeing the finished product, it's always so lovely. And I think that's part of what just makes me happy about it.
One of the best things about this Christmas is we lost Layla, who some of y'all met in our last Homeworthy episode. And this is our first Christmas with our new babies. And this is Mac and Tosh, which are named after Layla. Her middle name was Macintosh, so...
And they're very clear that Layla is a part of our yard, actually, and that she is their godmother. So it is, while we miss her very much, we are very excited to have these two little babies to experience Christmas with this year. But let's take you into our dining room and show you a little more of our collection. So, welcome to our dining room. We have a very small collection here, but one of the pieces I find really, really special is I lucked into this little choir boy. I found him on eBay. This was probably like 12 years ago, almost.
I think this was one
like
of the
first pieces
vintage presents that you bought me early on, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was really inexpensive. I got it in the box and was so shocked when I got it because it was so large and it was like... And so what I found out was it was actually used in a very old department store that's now closed called Strawbridge and Clothier. It was used in their decor in the store years and years ago. So it was really special to me. And we kind of collected it with, my mom made us...
Eric, let me interrupt you. I think I just saw Ben pull up.
Okay.
And he's here to set up the music for outside. So I'm going to go run and do that.
Okay, I'll finish. One of the things that's kind of special is my mom actually made all these jeweled trees. This actually, after Brennan's mom passed away, she made a tree for Brennan and for his sister that used all of his mom's costume jewelry. So it made it kind of special and was really kind of nice. But it kind of created a little bit of a habit or a craft for my mom. And so she started kind of making these others. And we tied it nicely with all these little vintage trees that are actually sort of these like vintage brush trees, which I kind of love. My mom was always really crafty when I was a kid. And so one of the things that I just got this year is my mom made these choir people out of paper mache when I was about 5 years old. And so she brought them to me this year, which I kind of adore because I remember them from my childhood. And so they're really, really special to me. So this is kind of something that I appreciate just because my mom made it for me. Oh, my mom's super crafty, I won't lie. My mom is the reason I really do this for a living. It's my mom sort of had this bug when I was a kid and never did anything with it overly professional, but the truth is, like, really has always done things that were kind of amazing and neat, and is, as she's gotten older, she really does a lot of the stuff that she helps us build. My mom actually helps us build a lot of the pieces that we take to clients' houses and stuff. So some of the stuff that she does, she'll come and visit us and actually help build wreaths and things. So it's kind of nice. It actually keeps us really well connected together in our business with my mom. I did not grow up with a lot of money. My parents divorced when I was like 9 years old. And I remember I was thinking about this actually as I knew Homeworthy was coming. I had this Christmas that my mom, we had no money. I did not actually know at the time how little money we had, but my mom actually made me an entire puppet stage and these amazing paper mache puppets from hand by scratch, sewed the outfits, did the whole thing. And I've always remembered it being like the best Christmas I ever had. And like years later, my mom was like, you realize like I did all of that because we didn't have any money. And so it was one of those things that I think now, like being older, I think like that's the whole inspiration of Christmas for me, is like that special thing that's not about the money, it's not about anything, it's really about the connection and the love and creating something for people. It really, yes, it really has sort of inspired my love of Christmas. So y'all, any of you watched the old Homeworthy knew that we had like 5 bars in this house before we renovated it. We did actually keep the bar in the family room. And Brenna and I find like tonight we have 50 guests or more coming. So we actually have a bar service coming to sort of make drinks and stuff. But really, we kind of find it important for our guests that both drink and don't drink to make sure that we have a really good setup of liquor here, that we have different things that we think everybody would drink. We try and make sure there's gin and bourbon and scotch and vodka and tequila so that our guests always feel like there's something that they would like to sort of drink when they're here. And I do love to mix a cocktail. One of the things we really do love is like we love some vintage barware. So I am a little obsessed. These was one of our newest things. Is I love these glasses. We found them and they're these beautiful Fostoria glasses that are vintage that I just really kind of love. I love how they serve a cocktail. And we kind of, so our bar is a little more vintage, but we kind of keep our bar really well stocked with lots of different glasses, like different wine glasses and rocks glasses. And we keep our glasses, that even the water glasses that we sort of serve on there. And one of the things we did was this nice hidden drawer that we keep all our different cocktail napkins and things in, which really kind of helps make, for me, service really easy with our guests. But I also like the fact that when it's all closed up, it's all really hidden away. Our family room is probably the most special place. Hey,
all set up.
Welcome back.
Music is getting set up. We're good.
I was just actually talking about that. This is actually probably my most favorite part of our Christmas decor is this room.
So probably, I'm going to say 20 years ago, before I even met Eric, I started collecting these ornaments from the 40s and 50s and absolutely love them. It is my favorite thing that we do every year at Christmas. And most everybody knows our Christmas decor in our house from these ornaments. This is kind of one of the things that everybody talks about. They're all really special. This little guy right here is an ornament that I found, one of the ones that I bought for Eric. I think that he's probably like Scandinavian somehow. You can kind of just tell by the face on the Santa. But all of these ornaments, believe it or not, for as many of them as there are, kind of have a special little spot. My favorites are the little bells with the little thing that still rings inside. I don't know, what do you call it?
You don't know the name
What do you call that thing?
The bell ringy thing.
The bell thing, yeah. But
There's a really beautiful one that was from Neiman Marcus that's down there, the balloon. I'm not even sure who, I've gotten to the point I don't even remember who gave who what. Just am like, it's just really kind of pretty, and it's like, some of it that's really kind of fun is when they're so large too, because they're really hard to find. But there's this one that actually is a Victorian ornament that still has the dried flower on it. You know, it's...
And that one's probably actually from 1880.
Mm-hmm. But we did, in Mississippi, truthfully, it really doesn't actually get cold here until usually after Christmas. So we kind of did more this year around the mantle because we usually end up don't building fires very early here. So kind of figured this would all be taken down by the time we would light a fire.
Usually our first fire comes sometime mid-January.
Yes, it is true. But this is really one of the most special, I think, like trees and the decor that we have, because it's just something that we've really collected together, which means a lot to both of us.
And this is actually the first year we've done
Tinsel.
the tinsel. One of our friends, it's one of their family traditions, and I think she said they use like 30 boxes of tinsel on their tree every year, and we were kind of enamored by it, so we thought we'd steal their idea this year.
I think it's always fun. I think sometimes you can get kind of stuck in a rut with Christmas, and I think it even happens to us occasionally. I think it's really fun to keep changing it up and adding things to your decor and doing some things and trying other things, like even for us changing up and doing more of this look. I think it's important to try to change things up. It keeps it fun and interesting, and it keeps like you thinking of different ideas. I mean, I realize that
I think most people probably think, like, I put my tree here, this Santa goes here, I do this on my dining room table, and it's fun to mix it up and change it every year and keep it new and fresh and interesting. And I think it keeps you excited about decorating your house for Christmas.
I agree. So one of the traditions that Brent and I have always sort of have was that we buy each other a pair of pajamas for Christmas Eve. Well, we open them on Christmas Eve so that we can wear them on Christmas Day. Has always been something that we held as a tradition. That was actually one of my friend's traditions that I enjoyed, so we kind of passed into that. And really, I think the decor in our home is a huge part of what is something we share together. A large part of our decor and ornaments are all vintage, and Brent and I every year have bought each other special different vintage ornaments and set arounds and everything. That has really become a part of what is a major part of what we kind of consider our holiday tradition.
Yeah, I would say it's probably, it's so much fun every year to open up the Christmas boxes and see those ornaments that we have bought each other, and you remember them so fondly. So that's...
Well, and it's kind of fun because the hunt becomes so much a part of what has made it fun. Like, it really is the giving part that becomes so interesting because through 10 years or 12 years actually of doing this, it gets harder and harder to find the special thing that's going to sort of wow somebody. So that kind of has become a huge part of it too, is the hunt for the thing. So Brent and I, when we first met, we agreed that Christmas was really important. And so we were like buying stock, like we were buying stuff for stockings. And I think the first year we ended up
like it was just piles of stuff
much.
coming out of the stocking. And
so we got Brennan's mom, we sent her a bunch of extra leftover fabric, and we were like, we need stockings that are like, you know, like
big. That you could put a present in.
So these are Brent and I's stockings, which are inordinately, they're as large as the Santa actually in our living room. But it's really fun. It makes it really fun.
The stocking is really the best part of Christmas.
It really
I mean,
is.
it's so much fun to open all the presents in the stocking. I was like, it is always the best.
Well, and the size of these matches the size of our mantle, so it's fine because our fireplace is huge. So if you want to follow me into the kitchen, I can show you a little of our dessert setup for tonight. So a lot of times when we're throwing a party for this many people, we find catering is a little easier. It makes us, makes me less...
It's really almost impossible because I don't cook.
And it makes me anxious to try and prepare and get ready and feel like I'm going to have a good time if I'm dealing with too much food prep and things like that. So I find it just nicer to sort of have stuff like this catered. We have some really nice friends. We have a friend who's catering tonight. We also have a friend who's made most of the desserts that we are going to keep here in the kitchen actually with us.
So we kind of created this centerpiece, vignette, so to speak, for all the desserts, set all this up, found these great plants, and kind of decided that I'm going to leave this.
Are you?
Yeah, I think this is going to be our holiday decor in the kitchen, not just for the party this year.
So we are having tonight for desserts, we actually have peppermint macaroons, which I'm super excited
I've already
about.
had one. Amazing.
And then I actually asked Danny to make semi-individual trifles. So I asked her if she would make trifles that we could serve out of, but they were really kind of pretty and all on their own. And we have some chocolate tarts that are coming. And she's actually making, that will be here later because it is super delicate. I asked her if she'd make like a layered pavlova dessert that actually will end up looking like a Christmas tree here. So I love a little drama in the whole holiday dessert idea. Like
He
I
also loves stressing out our friends.
I
to
do, actually.
make
I
some. She's like, it dissolves if you don't put it. It's not in the right temperature. She's very stressed out about
But
it. But
I always think it's really nice. Like there's so many traditional desserts. There's like, there's Yule logs, there's, Bûche de Noël, there's croquembouche. I love when you sort of have that little bit of drama that sort of comes with like a holiday party. So that always makes me a little happy. May not make our friends happy, but I love it. So
a little drama at the holiday party, a little drama any other time of the year.
it's always
Makes
fun.
them happy.
So one of the things that we actually just acquired from an estate sale is this pine cone wreath that we found and kind of refurbished to put it on top of our venta hood, which
It hung in the foyer of a old nunnery. And the nunnery was for sale, and they had an estate sale there. Fell in love with it, bought it. It was kind of in the shape of a wreath that they put around a horse's neck when they win when they win a horse race.
It was like a big O.
It was like a big U shaped. It was so it took a little work, but the vintage pine cones are amazing.
Yeah, so it was really it really turned out well, and Brendan somehow got it up there, and I don't know how.
Yeah, secrets.
So this is part of our, I'll show you later. We have a little cocktail that's coming out. So this is some of my concoctions.
Chocolate martinis.
Hot chocolate espresso martinis. It's like dessert and liquor. It's like, two favorite connections together. Best part about the holidays is the fact that I love that I feel like there's moments that we get to be children again. Like I feel like in creating the look that we create in our store and in our home, it really brings me back to being able to be childish a little, and for us to be a little childlike in our own environment and in our store, which really is the most lovely feeling to get to feel like that. I feel like at our age, there's so much easiness to why you should feel grown up, and it really does make me feel every year like we get to kind of return a little bit to our childhood.
And I kind of feel the same way. My mom passed about 5 years ago, and Christmas was always so important to her. And just keeping up those traditions and acknowledging Christmas in a big way, I think would make her so happy. And it's a great way to honor my mom and to honor my family.
And so much of our house is filled with our family, things that our family has made or have given us, or collections from them. It is really special that we are the holders of the keys of our family's holiday decor and traditions, really. Mm-hmm. So one of the last things we need to do before we kind of have to go and get ready is I need to kind of put together some of our signature cocktails. I was really inspired. Brent and I just went on a trip to Switzerland for our 10th anniversary, and I am a huge sweet tooth. And
Chocoholic, really.
Yeah, and it was amazing having all the chocolates, but I had this amazing hot chocolate that was not overly sweet, and so I was kind of inspired to do this espresso hot chocolate martini, and then I kind of added this marshmallow whipped cream just because, who doesn't want that? So what I did do was yesterday, a day ahead, which is also kind of important to me. Like, I don't like feeling stressed towards the end or getting ready for a party. So I like things that are make ahead easy. So what I did was I took a half gallon of coconut milk and heated it, and I poured it over about 60 ounces of dark chocolate. and about 7 tablespoons of like instant espresso mix. Mix that all together. I put it in the fridge last night to let it chill. And so I have that mixed together, and I have the liquor mixed together, which is 2 parts vodka to 1 part Kahlua and 1 part creme de cow. And that's kind of my mix. So what I really do is I gauge for about getting to about a third of the liquor mix. Make sure I'm like kind of even. And then I pour the hot chocolate mix on top, which is nice and thick and gooey. You get me a stir, Brennan.
Sure.
So there are things that you can sort of do that are like pre-mixes for this, but I will say I think there's nothing better than sort of the like pull together of making this, and then really just stir this together until the 2 things combine together.
Could you put it in a shaker?
You could put this in a shaker. It's just, I know we're going to have this serving outside, so it's just easier to sort of like do this completely this way. But it's got a really nice like chocolatey quality. I will also say for people that do not want the alcohol involved, the hot chocolate part of this is really, really good. You just want to thin it down with a little bit more coconut milk on top of it. On top of that, I ended up doing, so I took heavy whipped cream. I took 2 huge scoops of that marshmallow fluff that you used to make peanut butter and fluff sandwiches when you were a kid. And I added a tablespoon of vanilla and a tablespoon of powdered sugar. And this kind of can just sort of rest right on top of that. There. And then as just kind of my garnish, I ended up sort of doing that. I took a little York peppermint patty. Get me a knife out of the drawer.
Sure.
And I just kind of sliced a little bit of a notch in it. And all you do is just sort of tuck that on the edge right there. And so there is our little. So one of my other little tips that we both agree on is before your party starts, make sure you have a little bit of a cocktail that you sip on to get ready for your party. And my other thing I always do is that we always usually get a little bit of snack before we go and get ready for our parties, just because you're socializing so much that sometimes I don't always get a chance to eat as much food
Or
as I
forget
need
to eat.
to balance out the liquor that you drink. So
Right.
always make sure food is important. So cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to a good night.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to y'all. Happy holidays.
That's
My sweet tooth happy.
strong.
I think it's kind of time for us to get ready.
It's time. Let's go. Guests are going to be arriving soon.
And we need to change. So we'll be back in
So
just
we're
a little
taking
bit.
these and going to get ready.
I'm Simone. I'm Eric's mother. And I can honestly tell you, Christmas has always been really special, particularly to Eric. He was the first one down to open the presents. We got to the point where we actually wrapped every single present in the stocking just so that he was entertained at 6 a.m. in the morning and let the rest of us sleep, particularly his brother. I can honestly say I am so very proud of Eric and all he's accomplished in his life, but the fun that he has at these parties and putting them together and the entire event and making it special and beautiful in every way, shape, and form, from the food to the lighting to just everything. He loves it.
There you go. Can I have everybody's attention?
No crying.
I won't cry. I promise I won't
You
cry.
already did earlier today, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
So, thank you all for being here. We're so excited that you're all here to help us kick off the holiday season. It's so important to have all our friends and the people we care about the most here. So, thanks for being here and
For being a part of our lives, actually, and thanks for supporting us through all of this and supporting us every year. We really appreciate all of you, very, very much. In the middle of everything we do, including the holiday, we really just wanted to say we love you all very much. Thanks for joining.
raise your glass. Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
On today's special holiday episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you to downtown Chicago, where interior designer Martin Horner and his partner Ryan Vogt show us how to entertain generously for the holidays. They're having a Christmas cocktail party for 30 guests, and they take us behind the scenes of how they prepare, from the delicious past hors d'oeuvres to the enchanting holiday decor. Discover how to throw an extravagant yet intimate gathering for the holiday season. So join us as Martin and Ryan get ready for a magical evening. You won't want to miss this.
Hello, Homeworthy. I'm Martin Horner.
And I'm Ryan Vogt.
Welcome to our home in Chicago.
We're having a holiday cocktail party for 30 guests in just 4 hours.
Come on in and see how we entertain and how we're all set up.
This holiday season, get ready to unwrap the most magnificent holiday homes with Homeworthy's 25 Days of Christmas. For the month of December, we'll take you inside the most heartwarming houses, decked out for the holidays in true festive fashion. From twinkling lights and elegantly trimmed trees to sparkling ornaments and cozy holiday charm, these homes capture the warmth, wonder, and beauty that make this season so special. So join us as Homeworthy celebrates 25 Days of Christmas. The magic starts now.
Raise your glass. Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Welcome to our foyer. This is where we'll be greeting our guests tonight. As you see, it's lavishly decorated. Something that we always do for our holiday cocktail parties.
So to start off, we draped our front entryway here with garland.
And it's full of birds and ribbons and tartan. That was one of the themes that we're having this year. Because typically, we kind of have the same theme, but this year we played up a little bit with tartans and golds. Last year it was all silver.
And lots of birds.
One thing that's beautiful about this garland is it's made up of Douglas fir, Fraser fir, and boxwood. I love the different textures and the different colors. It really is a nice contrast.
And I think what Martin said about having the different varietals of plant material in there really helps showcase this beautiful tartan bow. It's a black, cream, and gold. Both Martin and I just love plaid. And we were recently on a trip to Scotland and really got to fall in love with all the tartans and the plaids again, learn how some of them were made, the different families. So that just kind of helped inspire our holiday party this year. And then of course we have all the beautiful frosted pine cones, again bringing in a little bit of that outside in. Even though we're in an urban environment, you still want to bring a little bit of that outdoors in during the winter season and the holiday season.
And then when you come up and you look and see, there's a lot of sparkles and there's different types of birds made out of feathers and glitter. Ryan loves birds. I mean, literally we have a house in Florida and he stops and he sees them and he goes, my birds, my birds. So that was the theme this year because that was something new that we've been talking about doing.
Yeah, and then we just love kind of how the whole mixture, the plaid, the birds, the spray, these beautiful sort of pomegranate-like sprayed gold with the beautiful touch of faux snow on them really adds to the overall elegance of the entire garland.
I think what's great about this is you see how grand and open this is. So, Ryan and I are far apart and we're just waiting for our guests to arrive and come in the door. And plenty of places to entertain, plenty of places to actually greet them and wishing them to our holiday celebration.
One thing that really reads well in this apartment is you come through the front door, you're in this foyer, you really feel almost in some ways like you've stepped into a small scale museum, one of these sort of house museums that you see a lot in Paris, France, where it's not a huge grand museum, but it sort of has the bones, the classic architecture, and it really shows off the beauty of the home.
And one thing was added since I have the apartment, these beautiful floors. Before they're hardwood floors, now they're actually this beautiful diamond marble, which is something that kind of sets the stage, it breaks it all up, something that we feel really is quite lovely. And another really exciting thing is, about 5 years ago, we were in New York and we were at Bergdorf Goodman's and we had this, in their lobby, they had all these twigs and we were so excited about this. This was actually the inspiration for the twigs here at our foyer.
What's really nice about this to us is that it brings in some really nice holiday glamour, but also bringing a little of the outdoors into our home. And this is something that we've done for holiday parties, for New Year's parties. So it's sort of become, for Martin and I, a tradition to put these twigs in our front entryway chandeliers.
And we have this beautiful silver leaf ceiling that actually reflects candlelight, reflects the light, and it adds that shimmer and glamour like Ryan said.
So as we get closer to this evening and our guests arriving, we're going to start placing candles, we'll start lighting candles, you're going to get that really warm, ambient light throughout the home, which everyone looks better in.
And then over here we have this beautiful green cabinet that kind of set the stage for Christmas. It was just kind of a backdrop that we loved. The other thing is we had this beautiful Asian screen here. And tonight we're having a chef come in and she prepared these beautiful, charming little gingerbread men. And she actually made them with pants that Ryan and I both wear. So we have stripes and we have these dots that were her favorites. We've been working with Rose for a really long time. So she made these special gingerbread men as the treat for people to get to leave when they're leaving the party.
That'll be their takeaway midnight snack.
And here we have these beautiful brass vessels with this asparagus fern strewn down with the amaryllis, something that we really, really love. We love that green, the white, and the gold. It just sets the stage. There's not a lot of color here. We let the guests be the color and the sparkle of the evening.
I think no matter what season Martin and I are entertaining friends or family in our home, we always stick with the classic green and white florals, whether that's summer, that's fall, winter, even spring. We just like the classic. We like the green and white florals throughout the seasons. Now we're entering our living room.
And then one of the focal points is this beautiful hand-carved French mantle that we have, and it's lavishly decorated with different types of garland again, and ribbons and bows. And this year we bought the deer because we now have a new house in Michigan. We always have deer in the yard, so we're inspired by our travels and the things that we see, and now we have these beautiful brass deer that's flanking our mantle here.
And I think is so beautiful is, again, the beautiful deer, the gold deer. When we were starting to prepare and buy things for our holiday decorating, we found this beautiful gold ribbon, and it was almost all sold out. But I sort of dove into the back.
He did do that too.
Clawed my way out and came up with one last roll. Originally we thought it might be our tree topper, but it ended up looking really, really beautiful, we thought, on the fireplace mantle.
Yes, and we're going to be lighting a fire before the guests come. It'll be a nice roaring fire, be nice and warm because it's a chilly day out in Chicago. So we're really excited to have this fire going, the music going, the piano playing. Hopefully people might just break into song and we'll start singing some Christmas carols.
I think one thing that's really important to Martin and I is when we have family and friends and guests over, we love them to feel like they're in a home. We really want our home to feel like a home, to live like a house, even though it has some beautiful things in it, maybe some fancier things. Still, at the end of the day, we want our guests to come here, sit by the fire, catch up, enjoy a glass of champagne or a cocktail, and really feel at home and welcome.
The focal point of this room is one of those other found things. This is beautiful hand-embroidered rug that I had seen from Oscar's Bearing Rug, and I, at the time, didn't have an apartment large enough to have it. Once again, fate happened. He still had this rug when we bought the apartment. It is this beautiful felt and hand embroidery French Aubusson style that he bought at the Paris flea market. So when we knew that was here, we had to have it. The other thing that's really unique about the apartment is this central sofa that we had custom designed. This is a large room that can handle 20 guests being seated around, but also we are having just the two of us. We sit here almost every evening in the wintertime with a fire and a glass of wine, and it's very intimate. And then you can also have another couple over, and as you see here, it is a perfect place to sit and have a drink. Also, what's great is during a party, I can sit like this on the end, Ryan can sit here, and our guests can sit there. So you see, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of great things to do. We pull chairs up, we pull benches up. This is about flexibility and friendship and camaraderie and everything that we love about the holiday spirit.
And don't you think it really anchors the space?
It totally does. It divides it in half and it's perfect. It's great. And look, it's Oliver. He's coming to greet us. Oliver, look, you're at Homeworthy. Do you like that?
This is also Oliver's couch. We laugh and say that this is our home and our apartment, but it's really Oliver's, and he just allows us to live here.
And we do joke, we have two Perel fabrics, which is this beautiful French fabric that has been back since the 1800s, that wool fabric for Marie Antoinette, and both of our couches in Perel, and we joke that Oliver has to be one of the few dogs in the country that has two Perel couches, right,
Maybe
Oliver?
even the world.
Maybe the world. One thing that we really like to do is we like to mix the casualness and the elegance of this apartment. So you see a lot of gold and glitter, but here you find these beautiful white berries that look like you just went out to the woods and picked them. It's opposite of what happens, something that we really, really like.
Yeah, and I love how they mix with these beautiful gold twigs. These gold twigs are the same ones that you see in the front foyer. Just obviously these are vertical, a different presentation. We mix them together. Again, like Martin said, you have a little bit of that fancy with the gold, a little bit again of bringing that outdoor into our home with the nice white winter berries.
And I think as we kind of give you the tour through the house, you're going to see our house is really collected. It's really from our travels, it's our favorite things. So you're going to see, and we'll discuss it when we walk through. There's vintage, there's antiques, there's modern, there's things that we design, custom made, things that belong to our grandparents. So it's really about how we entertain, it's how we live. It's even with the friends that are coming tonight, it's a mixture of friends and a mixture of different people.
All right, so we want to show you these beautiful swags that we made to put on the 4 sconces in our living room. We just thought, again, incorporating that gold. Now we see a little bit of a different bow, a smaller scaled bow with a nice white cream velvet. You have a little bit of this red winter berry in here, again bringing a little bit of that outdoors inside. And we just thought they looked really nice on all 4 sconces and added a beautiful touch to our holiday party.
Now let's head to the other side of the room. As you can see, in the middle of the room is the Christmas tree, and it takes center stage. It's perfectly balanced off the other side of the room, so it's central, and it's elegant, and it sparkles. We did something new this year. Ryan found these wonderful little lights. I found these beautiful little lights that I thought would just get sort of these faux candles, very nostalgic, very sort of an old school Christmas feel. Just to bring in a little bit, they're nice, you know, about 3-4 inches. They even flicker a little bit, so they give that kind of a little bit of a candle-like feel. That nostalgic old world Christmas, bringing that in with, again, all of our ornaments that we've collected over the years. Some separately, some together. I love getting the ornaments out every year because it always brings back memories. It reminds me of my very first Christmas when I graduated from college. At that time I was working for a department store and I was in charge of decorative home. So I had all the Christmas ornaments, so I purchased many of them and I bring them back and it takes me back years. Like this beautiful angel that we had. She was something that I bought for my very first Christmas tree. And my first holiday party, because that was also the first time I entertained back in the day. So every time I come out, it makes me really happy to see these, and we have memories. And Ryan and I actually buy Christmas ornaments every year ourselves. I want to show you this beautiful, again, tartan plaid, our theme for our holiday cocktail party this year. Martin and I purchased this just a few months ago on our trip to Scotland. We both love the stags, very sort of a masculine, again, in the nice red tartan plaid. The Eiffel Tower. This is one of our little Eiffel Tower ornaments. To be honest, I can't remember where we purchased this, but Paris is a very special place for both Martin and I, separately and together. So we love seeing this guy every year, reminding us of our time spent overseas in France. And here is a lion. Ryan is a Leo, so we have to have that on the tree as well. And then I kind of look and remember things. You know, back in the day when I was working at the department store, decorative home, I was selling Linux Christmas ornaments, so I kept buying them every year. So I go back and I see the year that I was actually doing something in my life. So I bring back those memories. So it's a really happy day, but also when we put it away, it feels like everything's taking a nap. It's going to sleep for another year, and we'll bring it back out next year for the next excitement. And another focal point of the room is this beautiful Steinway piano. And later in the evening, during the party, you'll hear the piano player, and we'll be breaking into some Christmas carols. And at every window here in the living room, you'll see these beautiful wreaths that have pine cones, these gold ribbons and balls and bells and everything, once again, just makes everything just sparkle. Every window in the first floor of the apartment we actually have, so you'll love that. The other thing here is one of our favorite artisans that we collect, her name is Linda O'Connor, and we have a lot of her pillows throughout the house. And she collects textiles from all over the world. And here you'll see things from France, Morocco, Italy. So you'll see these beautiful things, and we have these throughout the entire apartment. It's like little jewel boxes within the apartment that you'll see, and then you'll have them over here once again on our sofa. She actually made these patchworks for us. These were different type of Japanese fabrics that she made for these pillows. Opposite the fireplace, we have this beautiful painting by Jackie Kazari. She's a local artist. I met her here in Chicago. And I just wanted something bold and powerful and with the strokes. And I sit here and we can see many different things. Everybody sees different things in this painting. You'll see a beer mug over here. You see a deer. You see a roadrunner going through. So there's all these different things and different parts of it. And it's really has all this energy, and it's super dynamic against opposite the fireplace, which is actually nice and subtle. And I think one thing that's so nice about this room, especially for the holidays and entertaining, is you have all these different seating areas. Here we have 2 antique chairs. This is sort of our bone throne chair with a little needlepoint pillow. There's Oliver. There he is. You know, Ryan said kind of sit like a throne. I think, you know, that's what this is. It's not comfortable, but sure is good looking. Another really interesting part of this is this bar that we have. And it has multiple things we collected. It has all different types of liquor and alcohol and glasses. Ryan is like a fanatic about collecting all these really interesting things. We have these beautiful martini shakers that are very different. We also probably have a dozen different bitters here. I think bitters adds a really nice taste any type of drink that you're making. Right. As Martin said, we have different things. This is a bottle opener with a horse head on it. Here we have a tassel one. We have another horse head. Ryan has horses. That's what his profession is. He's an equestrian, and he has American saddle beds, so you'll see a lot of horses in the house as well. Here we have a cocktail pitcher from my great-grandmother. This is something we may use later to make a little cocktail for a friend or a family member at our holiday party.
And it's always nice, especially around the holidays, to remember your loved ones who may be no longer with you. And this makes me happy every time I see it, because if you knew my great-grandma, this is kind of wild for her. And I'm not sure she probably ever even made a drink out of it, but we definitely use it pretty frequently.
And welcome to our library. This is a really nice, intimate, moody space, and hopefully tonight, at the end of the day, our guests will be in having a glass of wine and having really some nice, quiet conversation.
I think one thing that I want to point out in this room that's so beautiful is the color of the wall, which is buffet green by Benjamin Moore.
And we have this beautiful wallpaper by Schumacher that we actually just installed this last week. Just something to bring in, something a little bit more moody and something really interesting in. As you can see, I like a little leopard, so I think this little spot here brought in this, added a leather layer of texture.
Here we have a pair of these beautiful deco chairs in an awesome leopard fabric. We got these chairs from our dear friend Doug Van Tress at the Golden Triangle, which is a lovely antique shop here locally in Chicago.
And I think one thing that's really interesting about this space, it's full of really different collectible things. It's not only about books, it's also about art, objects, our travels. As I look around here, I see so many great memories. It makes me really happy to be in this space. Also, the other thing is that we have this beautiful collection of the glass crystal obelisks in the corner.
I think one thing that's so important when it comes to designing your home and filling it is having collections. And this is such an awesome collection that Martin's collected over the years. I've recently added in some ones that I found. This one has an orange base, something a little wild. Plays nicely off of the orange pillows.
And then looking up at the art there, this is a local artist. We went to the Art Institute of Chicago. It's Andrew Holmquist. This is a young artist that we met through Carrie Seacrest Gallery, who's going to be here later tonight. But it was one of Andrew's earlier pieces, and we have another piece also in the living room. I like collecting art from a young artist who's kind of up and coming. One person that we have in the room is actually a portrait of myself. This was a surprise gift from Arnold Anderson, who's an artist from Latvia, and he painted this for me and sent it to me. It was a total surprise. And it's set in the living room. I just kept staring. I think this is a little strange, but when I look at it now, I think it really did capture me of who that is. And I hung it up in the library, and many people, when I'm on Zoom calls, in the back they said, "My gosh, is that a portrait of you?" I said, "Yes, it is." So you'll see here a lot of different things that you'll see in the library. A collection here on the table. We have a bone bowl that has photos from our life together. So you'll see, and it's great to see people, coming over here and picking up pictures and seeing, all the different things of people's lives. You see, Ryan's family, my family, back in college days, there's the Derby. I mean, it just brings back so much good memories, and this library is all about that.
Yeah, I think one thing that is still really important to us, and not many people do these days, and this is something I think I get from my grandmother, is printing out photos. I think printing out photos is so important because you physically have them, you can physically touch them. I'm a big someone that has to physically touch a book, look at a photo, read a magazine, feel a fabric. You can't really excite and get a sense of all your senses without that physical object. So we love to still print out photos. So we probably have at least 6 to 5 decades worth of photos in there amongst us.
So I actually love the library. There's so many interesting things here. We said earlier that Ryan is equestrian. I see this wonderful painting of 3 horses that's above the sofa here. The interesting thing is that I actually saw that when I was in college, and I walked into a friend's house and it was sitting there, and he became my design mentor, and it was over his desk, and here it sits in my library, and that makes me really happy to see that. So it's my past, my history. It brings my design mentor in. And another interesting thing is he has unfortunately passed, and these are actually his clothes. And we've had Linda O'Connor, like we talked about earlier, and these are his clothes that we have made into pillows. So Johnny is always with us, and here he is on the couch. He's here at this cocktail party tonight, and he would be the part of the party, and he'd be really happy to be here. So I'm very happy that we can talk about this. And there's his horses that we have. There's the bookends. Also, I think something that is beautiful and a little collected. I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable thing, but these horn chairs, we have 2 of them here. This makes you sit very properly. This is a Victorian horn chair, and I'm sitting here not wanting to sit back because I'll probably rip my blazer, which I don't want to do. And over on the other side, we have another horn chair that we'll show you as well. And I look up and I see the different vintage sconces that were originally to the apartment from 1927. That is one of the few things of light fixtures that we've actually kept. And then you have this beautiful inlay coffee table. Ryan found this in one of his pursuits.
This I actually found one day. Often Martin and I love to take the time to drive up to Michigan, Southwest Michigan, and antique there, visit friends who own antique shops there. And this was one of our Sunday finds. We ended up putting in the back of the car, throwing Oliver in there. He barely had any room, and we took this home, and we think it really just is a beautiful in this space and really anchors the room.
Yes. There's just so many different things. When we're having the party night, I many times find guests in here and they're looking around and they say it's their favorite room of the house because they see so many different things that we have and the place that we do. And once I tell them the history of things, they really love it. And I just see them picking things up and objects, and they're like literally learning the history of our relationship and who we are.
Yeah, I would say this is sort of our cabinet of curiosities. And
that's a perfect way of saying it.
What's interesting is, of course, like Martin said, we've added to it over time. I mean, I look around, there's so many things in here. I happen to love this collection of antler wall mounts. I think that's just very handsome, very masculine. Again, brings a little bit of that outside in, especially around the holidays, especially for our holiday cocktail party. You have the antler mounts, really makes it feel Christmassy.
As we sit into the library, what you'll see is, like Ryan said, is a cabinet of curiosity. It's really casual in here. The things are not formally placed. It's kind of like, it's curated, but not really. We just kind of keep adding to it. And I like that. It's not so formal. And it's really, like, you feel like you can come up and touch it. You can come here and you can see this wonderful letter. Has a Springer Spaniel on it, and this is for mail back in the Victorian era. So once again, all these little fun things that you'll find. This beautiful box collection that has all these beautiful inlays. We have a little, I think this is kind of charming. It's a way to use a toast stand. People don't use them today, but I like to put my business cards in here and little note cards. I think that's really nice. And then this is where I work. I have most of my Zoom meetings in here, and I think my clients get to see our personality when they see the backdrop. My office downtown is very different than this, but this is really kind of showing our personality, what it is. And there's that other horn chair.
Right, we add to our horn chair collection. This one is in a beautiful purple velvet. I love the horn chair with the antlers. I have an obsession with both. And this is something that Martin and I both love, are these Victorian horn chairs. I think they're so sculptural. Again, like he said, maybe not the most comfortable, but this is something that whenever people see, it's always a conversation starter. And this one we bought at the Nashville Antique Show, had it recovered, and I really love sort of the shape of this one. It's a really special one.
And now, welcome to our dining room. This is where all the food and this is where all the action is going to happen. Our chef, Rose Dunn, who's the chef at the Wickwood Inn, which we own in Saugatuck, Michigan, is here. She's preparing this beautiful amount of food, and we have this beautiful, lavish display that you're seeing here. This is before she brings the food out, so let's kind of explain what we're going to be having.
And so we've started with our beautiful centerpiece. This is a gold faux branch centerpiece that holds these candles, which we really kind of started off when we thought about how we're going to present our nibbles and our food for this evening at the holiday party. The beautiful candles are lit, the floral arrangements are by it.
And then the other thing is that, yeah, let's pick this up because we collect all this beautiful gold French porcelain. So you're going to see a lot of this being used tonight. We've been collecting this for years, so there's a lot of different things. And then here's my grandmother's Haviland plates, which is also really interesting because on my mom's side, my grandmother had the Haviland plates. On my dad's side, my great-grandmother had Haviland plates, and we ended up with all of them. So I think that's really great. You'll see those here. Also, I think it's during the holidays, it's the perfect time to bring out the silver. As you can see here, bring out the family silver. People say don't use it. We love to use it. I think it's something that, we should have it. Why not use it?
Use it, right?
Yes. And then as you see here, just kind of going through the space, we have this beautiful kind of 1930s Viennese chandelier that kind of the focal point. It's kind of modern, it's kind of deco.
Go.
And Rose has prepared this beautiful candied fruit for us. As you can see here, these are all persimmons and they're tangerines and cherries and beautiful grapes. And so this is like a still life. So once again, Brian said earlier, this is the nostalgic kind of holiday Christmas that we have. And it's also edible. And here is this big focal point, it's this beautiful, lovely, hand-painted Asian screen. And what's really interesting is originally when we bought the apartment, there was a window here that had really bad stained glass. So we had it bricked up and covered so we can display this. And we have these beautiful leaping deer. They're from a house in Thailand, and they were up in the rafters. So I think those are something that's really lovely for the holidays. We have them every day.
So here we place these 2 wreaths, getting it ready for our holiday cocktail party. We love putting the wreaths in the front window. You see them, guests see them from the inside. You can also see them as well from the outside. We added these beautiful velvet bows. We really felt in this room that the velvet would hold its own. It's a very sort of rich, elegant room. We added these nice little gold balls, sort of looking like little groups of gold holly within there. We have the pine cones as well. We made sure that the wreaths were perfectly centered in the window. And it's such a beautiful focal point as guests are coming into the room, getting their desserts, their nibbles. I really love how the wreaths, the gold, plays off of these beautiful silk drapes.
And another thing that we're standing on, I have a rug collection, and this is one of our rugs from Sheer. And I think once again, you'll see kind of throughout the apartment, you'll see these throughout. And this is that silk and linen and wool. I think it kind of shimmers underneath what we have here. It's really quite lovely. Then we have this beautiful 1940s Italian commode with this burl walnut at the front. I just actually love this. And then once again, we have this beautiful photography from Julie Meridian. She's a local artist here in Evanston. And we met her, and I love the kind of the black and white, the opposite here, and the hands holding out, which is beautiful.
Yeah, and I think those really play again nicely off of the Asian screen. You have the modern photography, the Asian screen. You have sort of this mid-century modern painting over here of this gentleman sitting.
And this was a commode that we actually designed. So this is hand tool leather with these beautiful rivets. So this is where we store a lot of our holiday decorations when we're not in use.
Yeah, this room sort of is the holiday storage room. They're beautifully stored within the beautiful case pieces.
And Ryan and I use this room every single night. We have dinner here. We sit at a formal table even if we're having pizza. We always do. And we pull out different china. We just like having it. It's like you said earlier, like, why have it if you don't use it? So this, you see, this is what we have. Now we're going to walk into our Butler's pantry, and you can see all of this china that we've been collecting over the years. Come on, follow us. And welcome to our Butler's pantry. This is one of our favorite places because we have all these beautiful collections of plates and china and crystal that we collected throughout our lives.
Here we have a collection of beautiful antique English china. We really love this pattern, especially in the fall. Perfect Thanksgiving pattern.
And then we talked about having our grandparents' china. Here you have stacks and stacks of the different Haviland that we have. So you'll see having this beautiful Haviland china. We also have pieces that I collected when I was right out of college again because I was part of Decorative Home when I worked at the department store. So of course I had to buy more china.
And I think one thing that's really nice about having a china collection is you can have family heirlooms, you can buy your own. These I think are beautiful. We're actually using them tonight for the holiday party for dessert. And these I bought at a thrift shop for maybe $5 for about 10 of them. So china is out there and it's accessible at any price point. And we really love Martin. I really love mixing and matching along with our teams who help us put on our various dinner parties and our holiday parties. And I was teasing Chef Rose earlier when she was in here. I said, "Oh, you're shopping." You know, she likes to come and shop our collection when we get ready, when Martin and I get ready to entertain.
And speaking of Chef Rose, let's go check in with her and see how things are coming along. Hi, Chef Rose. How's it going?
Hi, Mark. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Rose.
How's everything tonight?
It's been great. We're very excited. And first, I want you to tell people, like, what are we having this evening?
Oh my gosh, Martin and Brian loves to have party, and they love to have bite-sized finger hors d'oeuvres food. And tonight we're serving smoked salmon on pumpernickel.
I must have one of these, Rose. I have to taste it. They look so delicious. Let me have this.
And then we're also
Delicious.
doing cream puffs stuffed with chicken salad here. And then for dessert, we're having these decorated gingerbread people that I'm decorating here. And then we have meringue mushroom, little meringue mushrooms.
You look amazing, Rose.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I love the mushrooms.
Yeah, they're easy bite size and they're just like gluten-free.
They're gluten-free. Again, bringing a little bit of the outdoors inside for the holiday party.
You know, we've been working with Chef now for about 15 years.
Yeah,
And
been a while.
working with Rose has been amazing. You know, Rose was the chef at the Green Room for Harpo. So that's how we met her, and she's been working with us. She's also the executive chef over at the Liquid Inn, which is the inn that we have over in Saugatuck, Michigan. So we love to entertain, you know, personally, professionally, being interior designers is what we do. And Rose has joined our team over there to help lead us in the way.
Yeah, I love working with Martin and Shay. They're amazing people, detail, and I love the detail. Also with the food, detail is very important to us, so yeah.
And one thing about this little tiny kitchen is it's from 1927 and it's really efficient. As you can see, even though it's small, we have a 60-inch Viking stove, which is huge for the whole space. So you'll see this here, very efficient. So Rose cooks a lot of great food out of here. We have the wonderful dual prep sink here, and then kind of like the butler's pantry, you'll have all more China Morcus that we have.
Yeah.
And we're setting up for the bar. We're gonna have a specialty cocktail. Lorenzo just arrived, so I can't wait to see him get available for us this evening.
And we love this butcher block, this old-fashioned classic butcher block. I love the lines. It shows the meals prepared here. And honestly, this is probably the most used thing in the kitchen. It's like the catch-all, it's the butcher block, the chopping block, the prep station.
And like you see, it's really small. We have this here. You can see how tight it is.
Yeah.
But we can be really efficient. I've seen 4 people cooking here together. And then also what's really nice is adjacent to the kitchen is we have our family room, and there's this wonderful piece of furniture here where we use and we display food and have it when it's more of a casual meal where we're actually entertaining on the outside.